What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and I know that a lot of people, especially people within the true crime community, they suffer from this condition that I would call selective memory loss, meaning that these people personally pick and choose what they decide to remember and what they decide to pretend like never, ever happens. Now, this condition, it affects millions upon millions of people worldwide. However, a new variant that we are labeling the AWP variant has just been discovered. And this virus, it is spreading like a wildfire throughout this community. But luckily, me and my fellow scientists over here at the Cinema Shogun Network, we have been working overtime. We have been working tirelessly. We have been putting in the extra hours to make sure that we could come up with a cure to this virus, that we could come up with some sort of remedy, and we finally have. We have finally made a breakthrough. Now, I know a lot of you all are ready for this, and you want to know what it is. Well, let's go ahead and take a look.
On this case, no. If there are certain developments in this case, yes, we definitely do have another episode that will come out. But that's we can't do that, or it's going to heavily compromise their investigation. So, we're at the end of the day, we work with law enforcement all across the nation. So we're going to help them as much as possible, as well as, continue.
Right? Absolutely not. We're allowed to voice our opinion, and we're never going to back down from that, because that's our voice. At the end of the day, if this is foul play, we could never be loud enough. We know we have one of three things that are going to happen, right? They're going to announce that it's an accident. That's going to create a whole storm, because nobody's going to believe that. The second thing that's going to happen is they're going to say it's inconclusive, right? Inconclusive at this point, and then it's still ongoing. That's going to create another storm because of how things were handled every step of the way. There's a lot of blaming that's going to go on because of why it's inconclusive. Or three, the third one is that, hey, it is indeed very suspicious death, and it's still an ongoing investigation. And that in itself is going to create another storm. But just because we feel a certain way doesn't mean that that's how it is. Depending on certain positions that they may take, we'll have a lot more info that will come forward, and possibly
now that all of us have been injected with this miracle cure, none of us can sit here and lie and pretend like AWP wasn't all over YouTube acting as if they had evidence that Kylie Rodney was murdered. Now, some people will be watching this and they'll be like, well, what's the big deal? If you're watching this and you have that reaction, then that's because you have disassociated yourself from reality. You get on YouTube, you watch people's videos, and you view them almost as if they're cartoon characters, as if they're movie characters, and as if this isn't real. Well, spoiler alert, I'm a real person. Doug is a real person. AWP, Jared, they're all real people. Kylie Rodney was a real person. People's real, actual lives are affected by some of the stuff that happens right here on YouTube. And to make these claims that you had, oh, I got these videos that if we don't like what the police say about Kylie Rodney's death, we're going to release these videos with all of this evidence. You're literally sitting on YouTube in front of millions of people telling them that you got evidence about a teenager being murdered, and you're not going to release it yet. And here we are, months later, we still have not seen this evidence. Now, I think AWP is full of shit. I don't think they have any evidence at all. But this is what they are claiming. So if we were to believe AWP, right? If we were to believe everything Doug said in these videos, then that means that AWP and Doug, y'all have information about a little girl who was murdered, and you're not telling anyone what information you have. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think they have any information at all. I think they are lying, and they lied to everyone to get more views, more donations, more members. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you know the amounts of people who signed up for memberships at AWP once they thought that, oh, they have these other secret videos they're going to release one day? Those videos probably don't even exist. Yet here we have Doug caught red-handed. He's on like 15 different live streams all over YouTube, pretending as if they have some unknown information about Kylie Rodney's death that would point towards it being a homicide as opposed to an accident. But they can't release that information right now, but we maybe will later. I mean, come on, people. That's some really bold claims. I think that we, the public, we all deserve to know what evidence you had. I think Kylie Rodney's family, all of us, everyone needs to know what evidence that you're hiding about Kylie Rodney's death. I mean, other people suffer from the condition known as selective memory loss, but I don't. So I'm trying to figure out why you said you had all of this evidence about Kylie Rodney getting murdered, and now you're trying to pretend like that never, ever happened. In fact, they haven't said anything else about it. And I see them get questions and comments all the time. People wanting to know, well, what about this Kylie Rodney evidence you had? What about the other Kylie Rodney videos? Guess what? They probably don't exist. And even if they did, they are full of more lies and more fake interviews like the one we had with the tow truck driver. I mean, really think about it. Like, pause whatever else you're doing. Don't multitask right now. Just for 15 seconds, maybe even 30 seconds if you got the time. Just put everything else to the side and think about this one thing. The fact that this YouTube channel, who supposedly helps victims, and they go out there and find missing people and missing vehicles, this YouTube channel that has like 3 million subscribers, they're out here telling the world that they have evidence about a young woman's murder, who really wasn't murdered, by the way, and they act like they're just sitting on this evidence and they're not going to tell anyone till later. And now this young woman's life, or this young woman's death, has been ruled an accident. Yet we still have AWP, this huge channel with millions of subs, with a lot of respect, and a lot of people believe whatever they hear out of these people's mouths. We still have these people who just said 2 months ago that they have evidence that would suggest that Kylie Rodney was murdered. That is a big deal. Those are bold claims. That's not something that you just come out and say and then you move along and act like it never happened. No. If we were to believe AWP, then they could have the missing puzzle to the Kylie Rodney mystery, right? Now, like I said, I think AWP is completely full of it. They're liars, they're cheaters, they're scammers. And that's for sure. That's a verifiable fact at this point. But what's up with these videos and this evidence that you claimed you had? Are you hiding evidence about a teenager getting murdered? That seems really shady and odd. I mean, listen, if we were to believe AWP, I want you all to keep that in mind. If we were to believe AWP, if I were to believe everything that we just saw Doug say, then I am forced to believe that Doug is hiding information about a teenage girl's murder. Okay? So if we were to believe what Doug and AWP said 2 months ago, then all of them know information about a teenage girl's murder, and they're covering it up and they're hiding it from the public. As simple as that. There is no way around it. But now the funniest part about all of this is, even though Doug and AWP, they're caught red-handed in these clips, people will still come and complain, Cinema Shogun, why didn't you play the whole 8-hour live stream? Well, probably because my viewers have something called a life. And most of them don't have 8 hours that they can dedicate to watching this dry-ass lady sit here and stare at the computer and act like she's confused for 9 hours just to get to 30 seconds of actual content that meant anything at all. I'm not going to sit here and show people's 8-hour live streams to get to a 30-second point. That's not how I do my content and not how I do my videos. So yes, I clipped out the important parts. But if you want to go look, there are hours upon hours of AWP on YouTube pretending like they are investigators and they knew some shady stuff was going on about Kylie Rodney, pretending like they were withholding evidence about her murder. They're all over YouTube doing it. And if you want to waste, 68 hours of your life to go find 30 seconds of information, then feel free to go do so. But the fact remains the same, that we have these folks right here on a recording, confident enough to tell millions of people that they have evidence about a teenager's murder, yet where is the evidence? How come you have not said anything? You can't make those claims and then just disappear off the map and act as if it never happens, because I remember. And still to this day, other people remember. You want to know why I know they remember? Because they're still coming up with crazy conspiracies based off of what they heard Doug say on these live streams. Yes, these weird, whacked out theories that people are still coming up with about Kylie Rodney, a lot of it is due to them thinking that AWP has the secret information about Kylie. So when do we start holding people accountable for their actions? When do we start demanding that they turn over this evidence? I mean, look at all the horrible things we just found out about Jared. Look at all the horrible things that we are finding out about how AWP conducted business. And now, here I am, one of the only people that I guess didn't forget about all of this stuff. I'm here to ask the question, why haven't they released this information yet? Either admit that it does not exist or release it. Because what you're doing here is people's lives are still being affected every day by the whacked out theories that people are creating because they think Adventures with Purpose knows some deep dark secret about Kylie's murder, when in reality, they're just idiots who said some stupid shit on some live streams so they could get more donations, clicks, and views. I mean, Doug literally has in his bio that he's an investigator. Doug literally says that he's an investigator. I surely hope that Doug was not telling these victims' families while he was out here on this job. I hope he wasn't telling them that he's an investigator. That sounds almost like some stolen valor type stuff. I mean, that sounds like impersonating an officer. I would never get on here and tell you all that I'm an investigator, yet Doug labels himself an investigator. And Doug claims that he has information about Kylie's death, and that depending on how it turns out, and depending on what they come up with, we might have to put out this evidence in our other videos. It was almost like a threat, like a soft core threat to law enforcement. Like, hey, if you don't find out, and if you don't report her death this way or that way, there's going to be a lot of backlash, and we're going to release videos. It's that passive aggressiveness that I know a lot of people can't pick up on. But if you saw that recent video of Jared threatening people, it's all there. That passive aggressiveness is of, oh, just warning you, if you don't come up with this outcome for Kylie's death, there's going to be a lot of people in uproar, and there's going to be a lot of people mad. And if you release this thing about Kylie's death, and it looks this way, then we're going to release our videos and our evidence. That's basically what happened here. So where is the evidence? Where? Since everyone thinks that AWP is so credible, since everyone wants to believe everything that comes out of these folks' mouths, since everyone thinks that all of these people, I guess now excluding Jared, are complete angels, then ask them. Go find them and ask them, why are they covering up Kylie's death? Why aren't you releasing this information? I think the world needs to know that you all are liars and lied about having this information in the first place. Either that or maybe something worse. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I could sit here and talk all day. The point that I'm trying to get at here is I don't believe AWP. I don't believe that they have any evidence. I don't believe they have extra videos. I believe they have a whole bunch of garbage nonsense like the tow truck driver segment in their video. That's what they have. Yet they pretended like they had something different. So if you want to believe AWP, then you have to believe that they are covering up a child's murder. It's simple as that. If you want to believe AWP, then you have to believe that they are harboring information about Kylie Rodney's death that the public is not privy to. And that's shady, and that's messed up, and that's really weird and creepy, right? So it's either there's some weird creepos that hide information about teenagers' deaths, or they are complete liars. You have to pick and choose. You have to pick and choose. Those are the two options here. Either you lied or you're hiding something. Which one are y'all going to choose? I'm choosing that they're a liar. Let me know which one y'all choose down in the comments below, though. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. And I'll talk to you all in the next video.